how to take ownership and take your power back. So today we're diving into something that's real and raw, especially for me, owning it, and why this mindset can change your life forever. And this isn't about flaunting like your assets or your status. That's not the ownership I'm talking about. It's about owning every fragment of who you are. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your successes, your failures, your deep, ugly, shameful little emotions, and then all the joyous other beautiful parts of you as well. It's owning the full package. That's where the real power is. And so why do I want to make this video? Because of blame. I'm really getting tired of people blaming everyone else for their problems. And it's really a miserable place to be. And in the realm of like dealing with the discomfort in your life, blame is like the miserable, whining, little, nagging, gross, irresponsible brat of the emotions. Oh, that's super annoying. It's also one of the most dangerous mentalities to get into because it just destroys your life. And so blame is also weaponized in our culture as well, and it can destroy other people. And so ownership is the cure. It is freedom. And that's what we're going to talk about. And so the simple thing is, the more that I take ownership in my life, then the happier I am. So let's talk about owning and not blaming. And hello there, my name's Steve, a broke millionaire. I grew up poor. I got rich before I was 30. And then I really just didn't like the lifestyle and the people that I was surrounded with. So I moved on and I wanted to find a deeper, richer experience of life. And so I spent the last 20 years trying really to figure out what that was. And this channel is dedicated just to giving you little bits and pieces of how you can maybe find a rich life for yourself. So if you like the raw, unfiltered truth from a sometimes very opinionated person, then you've come to the right place. Let's dig in. So yeah, it feels good to own something. I don't know if you can remember when that first time you maybe bought a new pair of shoes, or you bought some new clothes, or maybe you bought a bike, or maybe you bought a car. That feeling of owning something and knowing, even if it's the smallest item, that it is yours and you can do with it what you will, is a pretty good feeling. But then you have to ask, what about your life? Do you own that? Do you own your time? Do you own your energy? Do you own your emotions, your actions, your impulses? This is the real ownership that I'm talking about now. Do you own these, or does something else? What does it mean to own your freedom, or to own your self-esteem, or your confidence, or to own your own love for yourself, so that you're not going out into the world and looking for this? You're creating it because you own that it is part of you. Because real ownership is bigger than just stuff. It's your entire life. It's your personality. It's your time. It's your money. It's your actions. It's your emotions. And so once you own all of those, then you really own all of the aspects of your life. You know, when I was young, it was the moment that I owned that I was an artist and I was going to make money on my art was a life-changing moment for me. And in fact, I remember, I think I was in grade 10. I think it was like 16 or 17 years old. And I had started a business and it was painting Christmas scenes on the windows of stores. And it was 1986, so there wasn't anyone doing anything like that. I was on the street painting a reindeer on a window, and down the street I saw a girl coming up. And this girl was the most beautiful girl in my high school. And I had a huge crush on her. And so as I was painting and I saw her out of the corner of my eye, I got very excited. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna see me doing this. This is so cool. And so eventually she walks up and I was like, hey, and she said, oh, with like a puzzled look on her face. What are you doing here? And I'm like, I proudly said, I'm here painting these windows because this is my business. And the look on her face was something that I interpreted as disgust, embarrassment, like almost a shame. And she said something like, oh, you do this for money? And it felt like a degrading response. And I mean, I might have interpreted it wrong, whatever. But in the moment, I was shocked. And then she just kept walking and left. A few minutes later, I was like, I don't care what she thinks. This is me, and this is what I love to do, and I'm gonna keep doing it. It reinforced this was for me, and I enjoyed it, and I wasn't gonna let anyone take that away. I owned it. But owning isn't about boasting about wealth or status or about a business that you have. It's about standing up in the unflinching truth of who you are. I really ought to thank her for that moment, because it really made me claim ownership over who I was in that moment and after that. And it eventually led me to build a multi-million-dollar fashion business with no fashion training at all. And so to own it is to claim every single piece of your story, all of the strengths, all of the weaknesses, all the successes, all the failures. It's to own everything about your life. And so it's not about bragging. It's about humbly knowing that you're in touch with your real self. And the weaknesses, it's not about hiding the weaknesses. It's more about admitting them and not letting that sort of thing drag you down. And why? Because you're no longer ashamed by them. They're not going to hold you back. They lose their power. Oh, and if you like this content and you want to support the channel, there's a thanks button below here. You can just click on that and donate. Really appreciate it. And it helps me to keep making raw, unfiltered videos like this. Now back to the video. But why do we shrink from owning ourselves? Well, a lot of it's just fear. We're tethered to what others think, and we're chasing approval from the outside world. And I've done it. I've looked for the applause and the admiration and the appreciation. And when I didn't find it, I got really mad. But what I realized later on was that I could give it to myself. And I can hear the rebuttals now. Oh, you don't know how bad I've had it, so it's others' faults, or it's my situation in life. And yeah, I don't know how bad you've had it, but I bet you there's someone who's had it worse. And so by blaming others for whatever situation you grew up with or found yourself in, it just takes away your power to make change. And also, society trains us to not be accountable, to blame our parents, to blame our ex, to blame the boss, to blame the family environment, to blame the system that is against us. And really, that just turns you into a victim, and then you give away all of your power. And you might say, oh, that sounds like a lot of work. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But that sounds like laziness, and laziness is something that you should own as well. If you're too lazy to do the work, then that's just you. You're lazy. And then you don't have to pretend and make up stories that you're doing all these things and you should get this and you should get this life, but you're just not. So own it and accept it. And if you want a life of quiet, unassuming, do nothing laziness, then own that that is who you are and accept what that life brings you. And here's the other thing, is that owning it demands radical honesty. You really have to look at yourself in the mirror, and you have to see who you really are if you're dedicated to owning it. And what that is going to reveal is a lot of some internal things that you probably didn't see about yourself. It'll probably bring up things that you did see about yourself. Like, let's say that time where you did something really honest and no one even saw it and no one cared about it. Well, you know what? Give yourself a pat on the back for that. Own that you're doing the good work. But no one saw it, it doesn't matter. All those times where you seek validation, own that. If you're needy, own that. If you want to get other people to like you desperately, own that. What does it say about you? Do you like that? Do you want it to continue? Then you get to make the decision. When you own every piece of yourself, a shift happens. You start to release the grip of others' opinions. Not with defiance, but with like a deep, unshaking groundedness. You laugh at your failures because they're part of your story. You honor your strengths because they're hard won. You embrace the mess and the marvel that is being you. This shift ripples outward too. In relationships, owning your emotions or your fears or your frustrations really sets the tone and allows others that are in relationship with you to see you for who you really are. Because owning you brings relief and it brings connection. even if it startles those close to you. Your authenticity invites them to step into theirs. And this isn't just about changing your life, it's about lighting a spark in others around you. Does it sound scary? Maybe you say something wrong and offend them. What if you hurt someone with your honesty and your frustrations and your resentments? Well, the way to really own those is to speak from the I when you're talking to someone. I feel this way. And don't say you did this or because you. Then you're actually blaming them and you're not taking ownership for your own feelings. And I like to say, if someone says something or does something to you and you get super agitated, get very, very emotional, it's because it's a button that they've pushed. But if there was no button there, then they wouldn't have pushed it. So the button is yours to own. What is it that might have triggered this emotional response from you? And that is the ownership of emotions. And they are yours to deal with. And you are just letting them know. Now, of course, this doesn't describe every situation, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And so here's where you can start to own it. Take a moment to name something that you might have buried, or an accountability that you dodged, or a failure that you were ashamed of, or a strength that you were also potentially ashamed of. And write it down and own that it is part of you. It's part of your story. It's part of who you are. Even say it out loud. This is mine. Now laugh about it. Forgive yourself if you need to. Then choose one area of your life that you need to lean into. It might be work, admitting a mistake that you made and setting it right. Or a relationship, sharing a vulnerable truth that you haven't been able to share in the past. Perhaps it's celebrating a skill that you've downplayed because you are embarrassed or ashamed of it. Share it with someone you trust, or even in the comments below. I'll read it. What's one truth about you are ready to own? And if it speaks to you, then share it with someone who you think needs it as well. That's all for now. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Own all of the pieces of your life, and I'll see you next time.